dad walked into the room.
I get that a lot.
Sorry.
You able to comment on the report about your y'all adding a tight end?
I think we're in great shape there. So we'll see how it transpires today. But again, I don't know what's official and what's not. But I know we potentially got a good addition there.
You've looked at adding to that room, or what did you feel like that room was missing, or what did you want to add when you were looking at the options available? What do you feel like you guys wanted to add?
I think guys that want to compete and help this offense be even better and win a championship, that's, I think, critical to guys outside the locker room that want to be a part of this. And so guys that have skill sets that really fit what we can utilize, I think we've got a really good tight end room, and there's ways that you can enhance that as well. And so that would be really exciting.
How did what Eric Hall did last year open your guys' mind to how differently that room could be used?
Yeah, he gives you even more flexibility, and you got a player that's really a plus player in both the run and the pass. And so, at the point of attack, blocking, backside of blocking, and protection can help you, but also really explosive as a receiver. Great size, great explosiveness, really good hands, tough to bring down. I think that's another weapon. Anytime we can add weapons like that, and Eric Hall did that for us last year as well, and so, again, we really feel good about where our tight end room could be.
It's been a position where, you could throw in maybe a guy like me, I get 11 catches or something. But, I mean, what is it about? Is it the quarterback? Is it the system? It seems like you pluck guys, and the first year, they're off the gate.
I mean, I'll pat a couple people in the back. I think our quarterback, first of all, is going to find you, and so we face a lot of zone coverage. And so guys that have awareness and savviness and good hands, Joe's going to find you. Anytime that anybody gets that void, you're going to get the catch. And we found that a lot with our tight ends because of the receivers that we have that draw so much attention. Our tight ends have done a great job over the years finding that space and being rewarded for it. I think schematically, our staff does a great job of utilizing everyone to their strengths. And so giving guys the best opportunity to play to their strengths and be able to maximize that. And in the tight room especially, you've seen that pay off time and time again for guys from a statistical standpoint, from a Bengals offensive standpoint, from a financial standpoint. That's really paid off for a lot of guys here over the last couple of years.
How is the way that you've viewed 11 personnel and how much y'all use it? How has that evolved in your mind over the years?
I think 11 personnel is probably a pretty broad term for us right now because of how you view Gesicki and how defenses view him. There's times we have two tight ends on the field that's really 11 personnel, and so, again, we have a lot of different ways we can deploy our tight ends and different combinations that try to generate different defenses and then try to attack however they decide to play us. And Mike's skill set, Mike can get a lot of matchups that he can really take advantage of. And whether that's an 11 personnel or that's 12 personnel, as Mike is the F. And so, again, 11 for us is a much broader term because rolling two tight ends out there doesn't always mean that we're going to get base defense.
Then if you're able to have kind of more flexibility with kind of the positions, does that let you free up Jamar to move across formation a little bit more? How does that work?
No, he's pretty free right now. I think Jamar, anytime you got a bunch of great players, it doesn't mean everyone's going to have 130 catches and 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns, But I think the common goal of our unit is to win a championship. And so any way that we can score more points, our players are always going to put their hand up and say, let's do that. It also gives you more favorable opportunities. So when you do get an opportunity, because there's great weapons on the field, you get an opportunity to maximize that rep, or maybe there's a better opportunity at explosive or again, I'm really excited about the direction of the talent level that we have over there.
Realizing he is not in the front office, doesn't make player personnel moves, how much of a voice does Joe have whenever you add a weapon like this, somebody that he's going to be working with day in and day out?
Yeah, I've been in communication, letting him know kind of every step of the way where we're at with situations like this. So he's always abreast of it.
What have you been impressed with the red zone defense so far in camp?
Their communication's been really good because there's not as much grass to defend. So offensively, you got to be pretty creative with trying to create leverage and motions and putting people in different spots. And that's the part that generally stresses a defense down there. So I just think they've done a great job playing to their help, playing with great leverage, communicating on a lot of the stuff that we tried to throw at them. I thought, Joe's thrown some unbelievable throws down there that have been completed for touchdowns. I think he's made some unbelievable throws that haven't been touchdowns, that have been deflected. That I stand back there, and when the ball's out of his hand, I'm like, that's a heck of a throw. And then Barrett Carter almost picks it off. There's nowhere else you're putting it. That's just a great play by a defender. And we've shown a lot of examples of stuff like that to our team. Like, these are great reps. Nobody's really losing on this rep in training camp for the Bengals. This is a win on both sides of the ball. Everyone's executing on offense. It was a great decision. The defense made a great play, or vice versa. The defense was great. The communication was great. The coverage was really tight, and Joe and the receiver put it in the only spot it could have possibly been. But everybody got better. And so I think that's, when you look at the red zone right now and the competition that's taking place, everyone's just getting better. And I'm not focused on who's winning and losing the rep or the set or the series. I'm focused on we're getting better as a team, and that's really encouraging for me.
Joe was talking about the depth in the wide receiver core yesterday and kind of casually dropped Mitchell Tinsley.
Yeah.
In addition to the other guys.
That's awesome.
What has he done to catch everybody?
Just done everything he can. A guy who comes in on the back end of the roster, and when an opportunity gets thrown his way, he knows where to line up, no questions asked. It's where he needs to be. He finds that, like we're talking about, the zone awareness as a tight end. Like, I can think of 2 examples yesterday. Mitch did a great job. We showed a great one-on-one rep of him versus Braylon Lux, yesterday, where they both just were in incredible position, both of them, and the throw and catch was really good. And Braylon was right there. He couldn't have played any better. So Mitch has just done a really good job coming in and just working, and it's a really good room, top to bottom. There's not really a weakness in that room. I think everybody's really had a good camp. But it's cool that he points out a guy that, showed up here in January, kind of behind the scenes, and all he's done is work and create opportunities for himself. And those are the kind of guys that when they get in the preseason games, you try to get them some opportunities because they've earned them over the course of camp.
It was yesterday a rest day for Logan.
Yes. Yeah.
What's been the theory behind the quarterback rotation? We've seen a lot of different packages there. We haven't seen a lot of Dax and CTB together. Is that by design?
Well, Dax has been coming off the end, so Dax is always on a management plan going forward. Cam has been on a little bit of a management plan the last couple of days, so I wouldn't read anything into anything in terms of lineups. There's days where we have a plan on offense or defense of what it's going to be, and then all of a sudden the guy's going to be down for that practice, and it totally changes the plan, and now we're in a whole new plan. So I wouldn't read anything these first couple of weeks into who's lining up with who, because oftentimes it's so fluid with us at 8:52 a.m. before a 10 o'clock practice, So, again, that's just part of training camp, and there's plenty of time for a bunch of these battles to shake out.
So we don't read anything into it? Can we just ask you specifically about Amarius? Is there an issue there with?
No, he's another guy we'll give some time to, get him through today and tomorrow, and then get him back on the field. So some of these guys, just working through some stuff, nothing serious, just things to manage. And, we got a game on Thursday, and so a lot of these guys, we want to be able to get some good work here in a couple of days, get them to the game on Thursday. So sometimes, we could push the guy through a practice, but we'll pull him off so that we can get better work with him next week, and Amarius falls in that category.
How much are you kind of seeing Josh Newton step up in year 2?
Just continues to grow from a professional standpoint, skill set standpoint, a leadership standpoint. He's a guy you get excited to be around. Loves football. I think that's the first line of his resume is loves football. And so, again, it's as many of those guys as we can get as possible. It's going to help our football team.
Have you seen a bit of an attitude from, in a good sense, from Demetrius? Seemed like he had a thump yesterday on Chase, and then he just seems like he carries himself with a little bit of an attitude you don't always see from a rookie.
Yeah, it puts me in a tough spot sometimes, during practice. But you'd probably rather that than the other way around.
The defense has been notably vocal celebrating their wins. Jordan Battle getting in Jamar Chase's face yesterday after a play. Is that something, you guys are looking for leaders, you guys are looking for leaders. Is that something that you guys stress to guys, don't be afraid to do that, be loud, be energetic, we need more of that? Or is that something that you have to let sort of happen naturally and just let it go?
Those things you let happen naturally. You don't try to force any of that on anybody. some of it's good to get you through training camp, some of the back and forth, that you let go for a while because it's needed. We're not practicing against anybody else. We're going to be against ourselves here for a couple weeks. And so it's going to get heated at times. It's going to get emotional. Guys are going to get fired up. They make a play. They're going to say something to somebody else. And that's part of football. We've talked to our guys about we don't let that stuff get too far out of hand. But a lot of it's good to have that kind of energy at practice. And Jamar's a hard guy to make plays on, and so any way, shape, or form you're involved in any sort of play that maybe falls incomplete, guys may never get that opportunity again to say something. And so, sometimes they got to take advantage of it. So Jordan's made a lot of plays for us in camp, and so I'm excited about what he's doing. But the competitiveness has been fun for me to see.
What was it like seeing Trey yesterday?
It's good to see Trey. He had good energy when he comes back in the building, and so he's a big part of the team. So it's been good to have him back around.
Would y'all get to talk at all for an extended period of time or no?
Yeah, we've talked over the last several weeks, so we're in good shape.
With him, Sion helping out Shamar yesterday, just him on the side, how much help can he give to Shamar and some of those rookies, other players on the
A
team?
lot of experience. He's been in the league. Is this his 8th year, 7th year? So a lot of years. A lot more years than the rookies for sure. And so I think there's just a lot of knowledge there that he can pass on, and that's a big reason why he wants to be here, because he knows we got some youth in that room, and he can help educate them along with Jerry and Osai and some of these older players. And so I think it's good for somebody to take on that role, and that's critical for someone who's got his talent, his ability, who's made the most of his abilities to be able to share a lot of that knowledge with our other players is only a great thing for the Bengals.
You and Al have talked a lot about the silver lining of extra reps for some of the younger edge rushers that have been available this camp. What or who has stood out to you to this point amongst that group?
I think I'd be doing a disservice if I let off the names, because I think the D-line group as a whole has shown really well. I think all those guys, you could go across the board and say everyone has improved. Everyone has had their moments in camp where you're really excited about them. So that's my easiest answer is I've been really pleased with that group. I think there's been really good battles between them and the offensive line, and that's encouraging to see so early in training camp.
When the DBs are making plays against Joe and these wide receivers, what's that say about their ability to make plays?
Yeah, this is as hard as it's going to be, and especially when you're looking at 7-on-7 and 1-on-1s, there's no pass rush. We like to think it's as hard as it's going to be with our quarterback and our receivers. And so, again, that's sometimes why you show some of those completions that are so tight is there was no room for error here. The offense made it work. We're going to play some teams where there is a little bit of error sometimes, and we're going to make those plays. And everybody understands that.
Joseph Option made a nice one-handed catch yesterday. What have you seen from him in the preseason?
Consistent, really consistent. Really come far on the 50-50 type catches where he's being restricted and he comes down with it. On the outside the number throws that are true back shoulder 50-50s, he's certainly come down with quite a few of those, which is encouraging because he's going to get those matchups. And, when they're devoting help over the top of our other two guys, and Yoshi and Mike have those one-on-ones, a lot of times they're going to be in situations where it's back shoulder throws. It's not always going to be over the top. And their awareness has really grown, I think, of early part of last season with both those guys to where they ended this season and where they've continued on going into training camp. It's their ability has really risen on those specific types of catches because now they've played with Joe longer, and they understand when this ball's coming, how quickly, what kind of windows he's going to fit it in. And so, again, that's really encouraging for us as an offense for those guys to hit another level. Okay, thank you.